We've been asked by some customers to show how the INNOMAX machine cuts glass, so we're going to do a quick demonstration for you this morning on cutting glass with the INNOMAX. What we have here is a standard INNOMAX system, a model 2652 cutting table, our standard direct drive pump operating at 40,000 pounds per square inch, using a standard MaxJet 4 nozzle with a 14 thousandths joule and a 30 thousandths mixing tube, and using garnet abrasive. Because we're cutting glass, we're using a 220 mesh abrasive because that gives us the best possible surface finish on the glass. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. We pick up the material that we want to cut, and you see we've got just a generic glass, which is what I have here today. Put that in. I then put in the thickness of the material. In this case, it's about 2.5 millimeters, about 2.5 millimeters thick. I put in a tool offset that's based on half the diameter of the cutting jet. And then because I have glass, I'm going to use a low pressure pierce to allow me to pierce the material. And it's a fairly brittle material, so I'll also check on this very brittle material box. Then I can say, okay, go. And now it'll program itself. And it'll tell me it's going to take 0.67 minutes to make this part out of the glass that I have. So at this point, the programming is all done. It's ready to go. All we have to do now is put the material in and get ready to make the part. I position it here on the table. You'll note that for cutting glass, I've put some thin sacrificial material on top of the slats of the glass, on top of the slats of the table. That's to keep any backsplash from accidentally scarring the material. As I've got some masonite here, but you could use almost any thin material, or as an alternative, you could use something we call jet brick that I'll show over here. This comes in blocks about 4 feet long. You can actually be used to cover the entire table, and then this can support the material and provide no kickback. And of course this will last longer than your sacrificial material. But either way, as long as you're not getting some spray back on the glass. I'll go ahead and position my material here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the nozzle up 50 millimeters automatically, so I can put my little muff on here, which keeps it nice and quiet and clean. Then I'll move it back down 50 millimeters. And now I'm ready to go. I'll go ahead and raise the water level so I'm cutting underwater. That keeps it nice and quiet and clean. And we begin to machine then. This part, as I said, is going to take about 6-7 minutes to make. You see the nozzle is beginning to move into position now. We're getting a low pressure pierce. Now we're ramping up to full pressure, and we're beginning to cut the part. As you see, when it's cutting, there's not a lot you can see. It's all pretty well covered so you don't get any spray. But you can watch up on the screen here and see what's happening. So you know at any point, where you are on the tool path. Okay, now I can lower the water level. And I can raise the nozzle up. Sometimes getting the part out is the most difficult part of it. Here we go. I broke it getting it out. But there's our little part. All ready to go. And that took 0.67 minutes. It's got little square corners, little inside curves. It's a fairly intricate little part. You'd hate to have to cut that by hand. But there it is, all ready to go. Just cut out of a piece of scrap glass.